Ding to the dong. The Gareth Southgate is dead. Gareth Southgate has resigned from the England Post. This is something that I foresaw in a video a day or two ago. I said it's very unlikely that he would be fired. The only way he would leave is if he had decided to resign, which I felt like was pretty likely. The only reason he wouldn't resign is if he was just determined to win a trophy before he left. But I think he knows as well as anyone how dang hard it is to win a major trophy with anyone, let alone England, especially after getting the good fortune required to make it to 2 consecutive Euros finals. He probably felt like his race was run, and he was on the way out. Now, in that video a couple days ago, I did make the argument that Gareth Southgate is a solid manager, that he is an above-average manager. He is not one of the greats. He's not, prime Jose Mourinho. He's not Pep Guardiola, but he certainly was able to get results that England was not able to get before. But now that he's gone, I think England has the opportunity to actually move into it has the opportunity to move in the right direction. The pasture can be greener. Now, who is the right person to take on the England job? I have absolutely no idea. Something that I'm a little more focused on and scared about is the fact that apparently Gareth Southgate's being linked with the United States. And you might be looking at me saying, Zealand, does that make you a hypocrite because you were saying Gareth Southgate's a good manager? No, I just feel like I want a more exciting manager to lead the United States national team going into a home World Cup. Sue me, right? I know if Gareth shows up, we'll get good results and we'll probably advance farther than, not probably, we would advance farther than we would have if we kept Greg Berhalter around, right? Because he's clearly capable of getting good results in that way. But I want somebody that is going to give me more than 0.5 XG per match, possibly when we're playing against, the Marianas Islands or something in the first round. I would love somebody that could just inspire the troops a little bit. So, look, if Gareth Southgate ends up being the United States coach, it's an improvement on what we had. It would be really funny to watch a dual-wielding meltdown between U.S. fans and English fans over the fact that happened. Actually, I don't know if English fans would melt down over that. They'd probably be encouraging the United States fans' meltdown. But the England job is one of the most attractive jobs in the world. I think it's going to attract a certain type of person. I think that if you take on the England job, you have the opportunity to become a cult hero beyond measure. I mean, the person that is able to lead. Just imagine this world for a second. I know it's painful for a lot of you that are not English because it is really fun to watch England just continuously lose these tournaments. But the person that leads England to glory in a major international tournament on the men's side, right, is going to be enshrined forever as a hero, right? Knight is not a high enough honor. They might as well make him the damn king of the entire country, right? Like it restore the old powers of the king. The downside is that if you literally do anything other than win a tournament, you are vilified. I mean, there is a tweet that went around after Gareth Southgate was like, oh, and I know it's all memes and everything else, but it was literally a picture of 1945, a bunch of British troops reading newspapers that said Hitler is dead, right? Like that's the sort of vilifying that you get. That had like 115,000 likes or something. Like I know it's all for the memes, but you get the idea of the way that people will talk about you and refer to you. I mean, Gareth Southgate made 3 major tournament semifinals, which is more than England got to in the 50 years before he became the manager of the England national team. And granted, he did it in perhaps the unsexiest way possible. He did it wearing nun clothes, but he did it, right? And he still got vilified that way. So what you are looking for in an England manager is somebody that cultivates madness, not somebody like Eric Ten Hag, who is, that type of aquarium fish that needs the water to be exactly 72.5 degrees, and then he is able to thrive. You're looking for somebody like a Jose Mourinho that can wade into the filth, that can wade into the nonsense, can give that nonsense right back, can stare into the abyss of failure with a team that constantly fails and move forward. I'm talking about somebody at least of the personality of an Ange Postecoglou, who is able to go in and immediately kind of galvanize support behind them, which is why I look at somebody like Mauricio Pochettino, and I don't necessarily think that he would make sense. Where I look at somebody like Sean Dyche, I think he actually might be able to make a lot of sense, because 51% of managing England is managing the expectations and the fans around England. Because as much as all of the players would like to tell you that that doesn't matter at all, it absolutely does. Because there are certain nations that put an unreasonable amount of pressure on their national teams, right? And those nations that come to mind immediately are nations like Mexico, right? Where managers get fired all the time. Everybody seems to always hate how their national team is doing, even though they're getting good results. And England is absolutely in that category, right? In a sense where the pressure is up to 11 to the point that you're going to alter your life forever by taking this job, for better or for worse. And I know I threw out one or two ideas about the people that could actually become the manager of England, but the truth is I have absolutely no idea, right? And neither does anybody else. I would imagine that the search has kind of been ongoing since the end of the Euros. I'm sure Gareth Southgate probably made it clear behind closed doors that no matter what happened in this tournament, it was going to be his last tournament, because it is exhausting coaching the English national team through 4 major international tournaments. But I think the bottom line here is that England now has a better chance to win a major international tournament than it did 2 days ago, right? Than it did when Gareth Southgate was still sitting on as the prospective manager. But you know what I actually feel bad for in this situation? I feel bad for Gareth Southgate. I respect the hell out of him for realizing that it was time to step down, because he did make the right decision. But we're talking about somebody that is so integral to the pain that England has suffered for so long here. Like, he's so integral to the struggles of England. He has the missed penalty, right, that cost England when he was a player. He's made it to 3 semifinals as a manager. He watched his team lose a penalty shootout for the European Championship in Wembley. I mean, that would have just been perfect. I mean, half of London would have been burned down, but other than that, that would have just been the perfect situation. Then he guides his team to an incredibly unlikely European Championship final again, and has to sit there and watch as Mikel Oyarzabal scores a goal in the 86th minute to end England's dream once again. Like, you can think whatever you want of him as a manager, obviously, right? I mean, it's a free internet. But the man himself, you've got to feel bad for the man, because he has always waited above the fray. But I know that it's affected him, and he still managed to deliver enough, and he's got to feel like the world's got one out for him at this point. He has to feel like the world itself is rigged so that Gareth Southgate can have just no pleasure with the English national team. And I'll tell you, the funniest thing that he could possibly do is go to the United States and win a Gold Cup and finally have an international trophy. Right now, obviously, it's a Mickey Mouse international trophy, but at least Gareth Southgate would have a CONCACAF Nations League ring or whatever you get, or a little mini trophy to put on your shelf or something, and then you could just wave it. I'd be making a lot of noise on Twitter when that happened. Could England win the CONCACAF Nations League? Probably. Do we know that for sure? No. England does have 0 SEC championships. But I feel bad for Gareth Southgate. England's got a better chance to win, and I'm a little afraid Gareth Southgate's going to end up as the coach of the United States. Because even though I said that was funny, I don't know if I want that. I want somebody that I know isn't just a better version of Greg Berhalter. That would be nice.